Welcome to African Spiritual Resistance. We are the Awesome
Ojetades.
Ojetades.
Welcome, everybody.
I'm Balogun.
And I'm Iyalogun. And this is Okikiola.
Yes, and we're about to get, y'all know her by now. She demands to be on every episode. We're about to get into odd practices in African spirituality and culture. Okay, so um, the way this came about, there are certain things that when we came in, we were just doing it. Nothing was explained why we're doing anything like that. And some people would say, well, why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? And, I told you I was going, we aren't dealing with fear, but uh, a person that came along asked me, why is everything in Ifa so dirty, sticky, nasty? I said, well, it's not nasty. Sticky because you're using honey. And he said bloody. Yeah, and it's oily because you're using palm oil. Um, now, notice they didn't say anything about all that gin that's used. They didn't mind that. So there are reasons, and it's cool, as long as you ask with respect what those reasons are. So we wanted to share with you all some of the, we put in quotation mark, odd practices in African spirituality and culture. It's only odd because you're not used to it. Okay. But before we speak about the odd practices, let's first discuss fact versus truth. Okay. Because we will be dealing with both of those today. So fact is a reality that cannot be logically disputed or rejected. Fact is a reality that cannot be logically disputed or rejected. Fire is hot. That's a fact. If you touch fire, your skin will burn. That cannot be logically. Now, anybody you can dispute it, but you're a fool. It can't be logically disputed or rejected. Fire is hot. Facts are concrete realities that no amount of reasoning will change. Fact applies to things, actions, or states. Okay. A fact remains a fact until proven otherwise. Okay. Now, a truth can be logically disputed or rejected. If I say capoeira sucks for self-defense, and I possess strong reasoning to support that statement, then capoeira really does suck. That is a reality, my reality. However, if Yalogun possesses strong reasoning that capoeira does not suck and is effective for self-defense, then that is also a reality. If we were to debate our ideologies and my reasoning appears stronger than hers, then she may choose to adopt my belief that capoeira sucks. That's not my belief, but I'm using that as an example. If she does, then capoeira sucking becomes her truth too, and it not sucking ceases to be her truth. Okay. Truth applies to claims and assertions. Truth is rooted in opinions and individual experiences. Now, to compare the two, every fact is true, but not all truths are facts. Okay. Every fact is true, but not all truths are facts. Um, for example, 1 plus 1 equals 2 is a fact. 2 equals 1 plus 1 is true, but it's not a fact. 1 plus 1 equals 2, that's a fact. But 2 equals 1 plus 1, that's not a fact. It's a truth. 2 could be 2 times 1, or it could be 4 minus 2, or 4 divided by 2, or 2 plus 0, etc., right? Truth takes in consideration feelings and beliefs, whereas they have no place in fact. Okay. A fact is something that is, so somebody can tell me, I posted one time, the brain is not a muscle. Because people say, use your biggest muscle is your brain, use your biggest muscle. And I posted the brain is not a muscle. No muscle is encased in bone. Okay, it's an organ. It's not a muscle. Somebody wrote in there, I feel like it is a muscle. I feel like it is a muscle. You sound like a damn fool. So Kalonji jumped in and said, nobody give a damn what you feel. He's talking facts. You talking about what you feel.
Feeling has no place there.
Right, it has no place in facts. It has place in truth. That's your opinion. That's rooted in feeling. But it has no place in fact. It's a fact that the brain is not a muscle. Do you know what muscle does? It moves skeleton, right? So muscle is on the outside of the skeleton. It's connected between joints by tendons, ligaments. Okay, it's the brain is not the same. The brain can make you move, but it tells the muscles to make your skeleton to move. Okay, so the brain is not a muscle. Anyway, a fact is something that is true everywhere and for everyone. However, something that is true for one person may not be true for everybody else. Okay, so it may be true for you, but it may not be true for nobody else. But a fact is true for everybody. Okay, facts can be seen, smelled, tasted, heard, and felt. These are the things that can actually be verified. Facts are not just something that you believe. They are the things that can be observed and proven by the senses. Truth is what a person has come to believe. If he believes that something is true, then it is true for him. Okay. Facts answer where, when, and how questions. Facts answer where, when, and how questions. Truths answer the question why. The question what is answerable by truths and facts. So facts answer where, when, and how. Truths answer why. The question of what is answerable by truths and facts. Okay.
Facts are objective. They are the things that can be observed by the senses. So, fact can be seen and heard and proven by other senses. Nature is observable. So, nature is fact, which is why African tradition deals with nature reverence and work with the forces of nature. African traditionally are a fact-based people. Truths are subjective. They are the things that you believe. Truths are our opinions. They are faith-based, thus they cannot be African. They are not traditional. Now, is Ifa truth or fact? The solution, Ifa is fact.
If practiced traditionally, it's fact. Okay? The solutions to Babylon and Yangfa provide are those proven to work. These solutions have been observed throughout time and do not require your belief to work. Ifa thus is not a religion, it is a proven systematic approach to life. So, your mother telling you, don't go out, don't play in that street, you can get hit. That's a fact. You can get hit. That's not just her opinion. Unless she's on the street where no cars ever come down, then it is a truth. But she's telling you, no, and you don't have to believe it. Or she said, you get hit by a truck, it's going to tear your ass up. And that's a fact. Because you ain't got to believe that. It doesn't require you to have faith. When that truck hits your ass, it's going to tear your ass up.
Straight up.
It's a fact that it will tear your ass up, okay? Even if it's moving at 5 miles an hour, a truck, okay? Now, is it a fact if I'm moving at 5 miles an hour, I'm going to tear your ass up? No, that's not a fact. That's not a fact. That's the truth. I may feel like it. I believe. I tell more up I'm running at 5, but there's nothing verifiable about that. I can verify that shit. So, no, if I'm moving at 5 miles an hour, I'm not going to tear you up. unless I, I'm moving at 5 miles an hour with a pistol in my hand. Then I can tell you up. All right. So I know you're saying, okay, well, we know about Ifa. How about the seemingly impossible things in Ifa, like Obatala descending from heaven to earth on a chain, right? I can Mobile ask me one time, right? Is that truth or fact? Well, let's examine it. I can Mobile ask me this question. He said, I got a question about Obatala. I said, coming down from heaven, right? He said, yeah, on a chain from heaven to earth on a chain. I said, it's a big ass chain, wasn't it? Right? And I'm going to present some facts that might make you uncomfortable. It's okay. Facts do that sometimes, right? This is specifically for Ifa folks who are very Christianized Ifa folks. You can't think outside of what these things really mean. In the Ifa story of creation, Obatala indeed descends from heaven to earth down the chain. That chain is symbolic of the double helix that is the form found within genes used to store DNA. The amazing thing is that he came down in the chain. The amazing thing that our people knew about the double helix in back then days, right? Without a microscope, or maybe they had a microscope way back then. When I say back then, I'm talking thousands of years ago. The journey from heaven to earth is a reference to the emergence of hidden or latent potential into manifest reality. The journey from, so she was in Yalagon's womb,
just recently,
right? That she was latent potential. When she came out the womb, that's manifest reality right there. Okay. When you are in the womb, you would have invisible potential as a child, right? And after you are born, after your child is born, that potential becomes manifest. Ifa is very clear that the womb is the passageway between heaven and earth. It is the doorway that allows for reincarnation, which is called Atunwa. Okay, so when Obatala came from heaven to earth, we're talking about the DNA. It came through the DNA. Okay, the manifestation of any hidden or latent potential is described symbolically by Ifa as the journey from heaven to earth. Now, when Yoruba speak of the whole earth or world, they say Onile. That's the world. We're standing on it, right? Not Aye. So when it says it comes from Orun to Aye, Obatala came from Orun, heaven, to Aye, earth. It's talking about the meeting place between the visible and the invisible dimensions. So it's the seen and unseen world, not the earth, which is Onile. Okay. When the baby's in the womb, it's in the unseen world. For us, we can't see nothing. Mm-hmm. Then when it comes out, it's in the seen world. Okay. The Ifa concept of heaven is not like the Christian heaven either. Ikole Orun actually exists all around us, not just in the sky. Okay. That's the world we can't see, but we can feel. We know it is there. It is easy to understand. You say, wow, how can we feel that? When the wind hits you, you feel that. You know that's there. Right. You can see the wind, no.
But you can feel it.
But you feel it. It's easy to understand as a different vibration of light. Okay. The spectrum of light is long. We can only see a small band of light in the middle of the total range of frequencies. Okay. We can't see ultraviolet. We can't see infrared. All right. If you were able to do something that would allow you to see the full spectrum of light, then you would see the invisible dimension. You understand? Everybody understand? Yeah, right.
No, I know one guy I was talking to just recently, and he was just saying, in Ileife, they were saying that, or I think it was Ileife, they were saying that there's an actual chain that exists that actually came down. And I said to him, I said, well, if that's the case, if there's an actual chain that came down, then are we saying that heaven is in the sky?
Right. See that?
So it's kind of,
people be spoken out.
Yeah.
People be spoken out. They have to. I can only go this far in my understanding. So, but if you're initiated to Ifa, you have to go beyond that basic understanding that you have to deal with metaphorical understanding. You have to understand symbols and metaphor. You have to, because it's throughout the Odu. When it talks about the magnanimous crocodile, spoke and people got on the back of the magnanimous crocodile. Really? If you start thinking that's real, you say, that crocodile right there, hey, babe, I think that crocodile's magnanimous. Let me step on his back, and it's going to tear your ass to pieces. It's not talking about an actual crocodile. Come on, man. We got to use common sense. We make ourselves look like fools. But we'll talk about other religions. We'll talk about Christianity, how spooky it is. And you out there spooking out. So when you say that Obatala came from heaven to earth, you are talking about humans being born. Humans are the house of light. We're the house of energy. We know there's bioelectric energy in us. We can't see it. Okay. And if you say, well, in Borneo, Carl Jung went and saw them shoot the electricity from their hands. Yeah, that's supposed to be true. But that's Borneo, and that ain't you. If you can shoot electricity from your hands and we can see it, then come on, come over to my class and teach a workshop. Teach us how to do that shit. Electricity come from my hands too. It's called a punch. When I punch the hell out you and fold you up, that's electricity in my hands. You don't have to see it, but it's real. That's real. That's how it happens. So we're the houses and conduits of light. So when we talk about the spectrum of light, the unseen world, we are the manifestation of that light when we are born.
We're now going to give you a brief information into African traditional spirituality and show how there's a lot of misinformation. Oh, sorry, baby.
Bad ideas and misleading terms about African spirituality and where it's coming from.
African spirituality was described with many racial and misleading terms by missionaries, anthropologists, historians, sociologists, archaeologists, in an attempt to belittle it. Again, such terms include savagery, paganism, magic, fetishism, idolatry, juju, primitive, and heathenism. It should be noted that these terms are widely used by both African and non-African writers and researchers. Some African writers have been westernized by European hints. They also use their racial and misleading terms, whether knowingly or unknowingly, in describing African spirituality. Just look at the definition of savage. It says untaught, rude, barbarous, the opposite of civilization. And most Europeans use these terms when describing African culture and traditions.
We've heard people use the term juju, and some even say it is an African word. I've heard some Ifa practitioners, say juju is an African word. It's not. Right? The word juju is French in origin. I've told people that before, and it means a little doll or toy. Its application to African deities is an insult. How can the Orisha, Noah, or Abosom be described as toys? Juju is therefore one of the misleading and derogatory terms used by Ifa practitioners and others out of ignorance.
Now, as we're coming, the salute. The salute is perhaps one of the most misunderstood traditions in Ifa.
Now, salute is, I see a priest, I'm a man, I drop down and prostrate. Okay.
Completely.
Right. And we'll
like
describe
you're
it in there.
Lying down.
Right. You're laying with your hands at your side, chest on the ground, forehead on the ground, to show respect. And we'll deal with that. So she's going to deal with that now.
Many people may think of it as a master-slave type relationship between the teacher and his or her students. The interpretation is false. Instead, the salute is done to show humility and is used to express a lack of arrogance. In addition, it serves as a sign of mutual respect between teachers and students. In Ifa, women salute priests by touching both knees on the ground and usually touching the head down as well. Men salute priests by dropping into like a push up position, then lying flat with their arms at the side and touching their forehead on the floor. If suffering a knee injury or some type of illness or some type, then salutation is not compulsory in that. If you're sick or ill and you can't do it, you know, it's fine. You're not gonna be fined or you're gonna go to hell and none of that stuff because of that. Now that you know why Ifa practitioners salute, let's look at when the salute is appropriate. You should salute when you're encountering a person to be an initiated priest of Ifa or reach your higher knowledge or rank than you, particularly your teacher or teacher's teachers, unless they say otherwise. As you salute, you should say Aboru, Aboye. And the person that you're saluting replies Agboato or Agboato Ashure Iworo, which is
I'm gonna deal with
okay.
that in one.
We salute our teachers to show our respect and gratitude for their teachings and signifies that we are focused on the task and training ahead. We should salute our parents for the same reason. Now, in the US, it's a bit difficult for us to be saluting our parents. You can still do it just to show respect, and you can just let them know, like, that this is what you can say. I'm saluting you, I'm greeting you just to give you a level of appreciation. I know years ago, my mother-in-law, Balagon's
I was about to say that.
is 92 years old. So when she came and all the children, everybody
was in her 70s then.
Yes, everybody was saluting her. She didn't know what to do, but she was happy about that.
But she was saying, rise in peace. She rise in peace.
Yes, even though she really enjoyed it, and it was just really nice to see that. So we like Okikiola, Yami, our daughter, our son, everybody. We make sure that they do that. That's important. You should also make sure they do it in your household, because sometimes what happens, and we've done it before too, you just kind of get lax when you're at home. When they wake up, they need to salute, because when you go out, you're gonna be expecting them to salute as well. So make sure your children are showing their respect to their elders, so that they can at some point pass that along.
And when I walk my daughter out to the bus. I expect everybody on the bus to salute me. So no, I'm just joking. So why we say Agboa Toashre Iwori Wopun. And it's funny, at the Oshun Festival, people say Agboato to me, and I've said so many times, I'm grabbing her. Yes, excuse me, Abu. Yeah, I said Agboato Ashwe Wori Wopun. I'm just like, it's just coming out. Like right now, I'm saying it more sluggish, but when I'm around Ipapo, it just comes out because we've been doing it so long. I'm grabbing her. She trying to grab my glasses off my face. She got them in her hand. I'm still saying it because it's not something you got to really think about, right? And a lot of times, that's what people are saying it. They don't even know what it means. Why they're saying Abuato, Ashire, Iwori Wofun.
Or Aboru Aboye.
Right.
Or
so a person, Grecian says Aboru Aboye, they may not know what that means. And then you say Abuato, Ashire, Iwori Wofun. If you hear Iwori Wofuno, that's an exclamation point. The O at the end in Yoruba is an exclamation point. So I said, even you may use English. We that's another odd practice. We mix English and Yoruba. Like, I'm confused though. Like, the exclamation points there. But so anyway, in Oduifa Ogunda Meiji, remember we talked about the Oduifa. It's 256. Those are the containers of life. That's the corpus of Ifa. It's the body of knowledge of Ifa. Okay, it's 256 Odu, and within each Odu there are countless number essay. Okay, in the Odu Ifa Ogunda Meiji, and nobody knows all the SA and the Odu, by the way. We find the story of Orunmila in desperate need to consult with Olodumare. But Olodumare is hard to get to. At Olodumare's door, and Olodumare is the creator. Orunmila is the Orisha, if you will, is witness to creation, but he's also knowledge, wisdom, and understanding personified, and the spirit, force of nature, if you will, of divination as well. But knowledge, wisdom, and understanding too, force of nature. But Olodumare is hard to get to. At Olodumare's door are three important women. They are the Iyami, okay? And Iyami, no, are not witches. Stop using that term too. That's another thing that people use. They're not witches. I can't stand that. Because witches is Western. They got nothing to do with the Western world. They are the Iyami. Yami Asharonga. They guard and help Olodumare. Yami is my mother. They also call Awon Iyawa, our mothers. They are the Iyami that guard and help Olodumare and are also the daughters of Olodumare. Orunmila knew he would have to get through to them before he could gain a reception with Olodumare. He also knew the Iyami were not easy to get past. So Orunmila consulted Ifa and was advised to bring an offering in 3 calabashes of gifts to them. He did so and laid them at the river where they bathed. The women saw the gifts and were delighted and appreciative at someone being so thoughtful. They then discovered the gifts were from Orunmila. Because of his generosity, when he came to see Olodumare, they allowed him to enter and his business concluded successfully. Orunmila, seeing the great importance and spiritual power of these women, decided to ask for their hand in marriage. They accepted. Now, in Ifa, traditionally Ifa had more than one wife, so they accepted. As a result, Orunmila determined that anyone who wanted to see an Awo Ifa for consultation must first greet the daughters of Olodumare or Orunmila's wives. No one gains access without greeting them by name, and their names are Aboru, Aboye, and Aboshishe. Now, the Oduifa Iwori Wofun, you heard Agboato, Ashere Iwori Wofun. Iwori Wofun is Iwori and Wofun. Iwori on the right, Wofun on the left. Is the divine portal that pours divine grace upon us from Olodumare. That divine grace are his 3 daughters who came to earth. Once again, Aboru, Aboye, Aboshishe. And they came with their husband, Orunmila. Okay. Primordial female power is what the Iyami are. To be blessed by and not fought by the Iyami is a great fortune, bringing money, good home, and friendships in all walks of life. They teach us that happy wife equal happy life for real. So in Iwori Wofun, that's where the blessings of Aboru, Aboye, and Aboshishe come from. That's why we say Aboru, Aboye, Aboshishe, or Aboru, Aboye, and they say Agboato, Ashire, Iwori Wofun. Okay, the blessings from Iwori Wofun.
Ashe. Well, that's a good story from Ogundameji regarding the daughters
Yes.
of Olodumare. Because I've always saw that, well, I always thought that the Iyami was also an extension of Olodumare. That's the feminine part.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And
Odu, who is the head of the Iyami, if you will, and all Babalaos see Odu. That's a whole nother thing. But receive Odu. In Olodumare, you hear Odu Mara. You hear it in there, right?
Yeah, Olodu.
So yes, the Iyami are the extension of, and if you will, the physical embodiment.
Well, that makes sense
of
because
Olodumare.
if they're his children, then the wife of his component,
Right,
yeah, will have to be
exactly. Odu. Yes.
So as we move forward to oral sex,
Yeah.
I know everybody's just waiting on this topic, right?
Right. That's why people they're like, oh, stop.
Uh, most sexually active people in the United States engage in oral sex. As a matter of fact, too many folks.
Oh, too many folks. Not too many. Too
Sorry,
many folks out there.
sorry, I said that wrong. To many folks, oral sex is more pleasurable than intercourse. I guess that depends on,
It depends on the
the
woman, the
individual.
man. It
Yeah.
depends if the man got a weenus instead of a penis, all that.
Well, I guess that depends on the woman in that case.
Oh God.
For the most part, Africans shun oral sex for cultural reasons.
Real quick, I'm not side shaming nobody either. We're joking because it's a serious subject, but people get nervous when you talk about sex, and I'm gonna say something on that too.
So for the most part, Africans shun oral sex for cultural reasons.
We're talking about continental Africa.
Mm-hmm. But it is not a taboo, according to what we learn.
Right. We learned this from a priest from Africa. It's not taboo. He said it's bad. How he said bad. It's cultural bad. It's bad culture.
Yes.
Bad culture.
So it's not something that it is like kind of look. It's kind of shamed upon or
right. Son looks shameful, but yeah. It's not taboo.
It's not. We haven't seen any Odu that speaks against it.
Right.
So until we find an Odu that speaks against it, then we'll let you guys know. We'll update you. Those that engage in it deny it in public because they see it as a real man. They see it as a real man should be able to give a woman the same pleasure using his penis. However, many African men who are married to women from the Western world will tell you that they have no choice but to perform oral sex on their partners, and if they want to please them.
If they want to please them, yeah.
Some African women, on the other hand, who would like to have oral sex with their partner shy away from saying it because they do not want to be labeled as being spoiled or sexual perverted. It is so foreign to to the Yoruba culture at least. Most don't even know the term oral sex. They didn't, didn't understand what it meant. Even my husband, was trying to break it down to one of the brothers that's a priest before he understood what was being said. And he was saying that he never experienced that. He never experienced it either way. So I know some priests that have experienced it, but they say they could receive it, but they could never do it.
No, my teacher, I was going to say, one of my teachers said, oh yeah, you have, because I asked him this question years ago. He said, oh, you have to, take care of your woman, and she got to take care of you. Your wife, she's not going to be happy if you don't go down and take care of it. Now that's exactly how he said it, right? I said, okay, he said, but some people say, you don't do it. But he also has been living in the United States for quite a while. He goes back and forth, but he's been living in the United States for quite a while. So, but the priest we spoke to today, he was like, I've never had it, I've never done it.
And it's like an animal type
right. So Yalagoro said, well, the monkeys do it in Africa. He said, yes, the monkeys do it. He said, so if you do it, you're a monkey. So, they have a funny outlook on it. But it's not taboo. He made that plain. It's not taboo. It's just they don't do it.
Now, one other reason why I heard outside of this conversation that men don't do it, or priests don't do it, is linked to the ashe in the mouth. So that because you're constantly helping people, you're constantly doing prayers for them, you're constantly supporting different people, and you need the ashe to continue to do so. So I've heard from that point why some priests are against doing it.
Although he disagrees with that, and my thinking on that is, you shouldn't be going down on nobody that's not clean anyway.
Well, no, not that they are not clean, but that area takes power. I don't know,
I wouldn't think so. I don't think that. I've heard people say that, but also What I was going to say is we get real prude when it comes to sex. So one of my students, I was saying something. She said, at my wife's shop, when we have sex though, the ancestors look away. So the ancestors are in your head. They're in your DNA. How they look away? How they look away? When you having sex, in fact, the belief is you have sex, the ancestors coming here through us having sex. You think they ain't looking? They looking and cheering you on. Oh, dude, you gotta do better than that.
You think? Oh my God!
You gotta do better than that.
So you think
put
the
in some
ancestors?
work?
So you think the ancestors?
Yeah. The ancestors look and make sure you got the shit down because. And they're in our head, so it's not like, if we're seeing through our eyes, the ancestors are in us. They are us. Of course, they're seeing through our. They ain't turn that is who they can't be. Oh, my daddy.
I mean, I never seen it like that, but I've heard that like Egbe or you're during that time, whatever spirits that are supporting you, they will
That's to make people feel better.
Yeah.
That's to make people feel better. I tell you, I don't want to have a second without my ancestors. I don't want them turning their back because that's when the motherfucker may try to kill me and I ain't got that protection. I don't want them not looking with anything I do. You know what I mean? Even if, especially before I got married, I've been married a long time, since I was 21. But let's say if when I was young and my ancestors weren't watching me now, I'd be gone. My mother was already concerned. She's like, I counted 20 women called the house today. I said, well, Mama, I can't sleep with 20 women. So you ain't got to worry about that. Because, everybody was, when I was 18, 19, everybody was scared of AIDS because it was new.
Right.
And I said, well, I can't sleep with all those women anyway. If it wasn't for my ancestors, I can't wear, I'm allergic to condoms. I'll let you all know I'm allergic to latex, period. So, now don't put no latex in the food thinking you're going to do me. That don't work. That ain't going to work.
That's why you shouldn't tell them.
That's okay. It's okay because I see latex in my food. Somebody got to pick. I shouldn't be no latex there. Or I was cooking with gloves and they got, no, see, I can't trust you now. But anyway, so I gotta rely on my ancestors. I fully believe in mine, and I don't want them to turn away. And I get, when I was young, got a hold of some bad stuff. I was serious about that anyway. I was at Howard. Girl, we talking. I'm like, oh boy, she fine. Bring her back to the room. She unzips her pants, and I just snapped my fingers, pointed at the door. You got to go. She said, you're going to put me out? I'm not going anywhere. I snapped my fingers. I pointed at the window. You can go out the door or you got the window, but you get the hell out of here because that don't make no sense. You got to get in the tub, good. So she left. Never talked to me again. I'm assuming she don't watch this show. So she don't know, and I wouldn't say her name anyway. I can't remember her name, to be honest with you. But make sure, just speaking that in the raw, brother, make sure you be with somebody and make sure you clean. Be with somebody clean. Now, this I deal with my martial arts students. We deal with that. I had a conversation, and one student was like, Baba, you gonna talk to them about cleaning themselves? Yeah, goddamn right. Wiping themselves properly, all of that. And you would be surprised. Something I thought would take me 5 minutes to talk on. We ended up talking on it for about 45 minutes because people didn't know how to properly wipe their backside. And that ain't funny. That's sad. So they had to be trained. But if we ain't going to teach the people we love, who is? Who is? I'm talking with a female student. She thought you urinated out of her clitoris. I'm a man and knew better than that. But if we hadn't talked to her, now y'all was there too. We hadn't talked to her. More my wife talking to her, because I thought I was lying. She would have gone on to think that she urinated from her clitoris. We can't spook out. And we're supposed to be priests that help people.
Yeah, it's not.
And we
As
get
a priest,
ashamed.
yeah. I mean, people come to you about all different types of stuff. You'll be surprised. Sex, the intimate stuff that people will just tell you, and they just feel so comfortable, like y'all friends. They'll be telling you. So you have to be ready for this type of conversation.
And your children, talk with your children.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just have your children out here ignorant because you're uncomfortable. Talk with your children. I talked to my son when my son was 9 years old. If I had ignored this and tell him, where you be now? He said, Daddy, we went in martial art class, circled up. He said, Daddy, is pussy good? What am I supposed to tell him? Dog, son. Now I'm gonna tell you, if one of my daughters asked me that shit, I'd be like, no, it's terrible. It's the worst thing ever. But no. But when he asked me, is pussy good? I said, first of all, it's not pussy, son. Don't use that. I said the outside's the ball. But I'm talking to him about it, and the other brothers. I said, but yeah, it's good, son. That's why we all here. That's why everybody in this classroom right here, I'm pointing to him, that's why we all here. Because two people got together and enjoyed it. I hope that's how, we all here. The people that were there, I know babies can come other ways, unfortunately. And it can come with people there's no joy, and that's sad. But I said, yeah, son, it's good. That's why people are going to continue to be here. Humanity will continue to exist because it's good, son. But you ain't got to worry about that until you're much, much older. Mm-hmm. See, not, son, we ain't going to talk about that. Oh, Lord. Now, my mother wouldn't go into it. Maybe I think with my sister she did, but not me. But my father had no problem. I think my father was just too goddamn open, telling me everything. You know what I mean? But I appreciate it. That I had some sense, and I've always talked to my children with sense. Don't be prude or scared or confused, or if you got a question, ask. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, going back to saluting, there was a time where the way you salute Ifa, the way we talked about saluting the Orisha, a person, a priest, mm-hmm. You also salute your Ifa the same way.
When she's saying your Ifa, she's talking about your shrine.
Your shrine, mm-hmm. Your ancestor. You also, if you come across a king, the women will kneel, put both knees down, and put their head down, and the men will prostrate fully. Because when I went my first year, when I went to Africa, I got lucky enough to meet the king of Ede, and they was having this huge Timmy and it was a festival, and we went before the king and we greeted him, and it was like dirt road. It was dirt, and I just went all the way down, and I just kind of followed the priest that was in front of me, and it was a guy, so I just did what he did. I was just like, man, I'm getting dirty. So we went to the palace, and the palace we greeted again. So I just followed again behind the priest that greeted, and they was like, yeah, no, you don't salute like that. I was like, well, how do I salute? Oh, you just put your knees down and touch your head. I was like, oh, okay. So don't embarrass. I'm so embarrassed.
and certain things, recognize that it's a different culture. One of our students, Bob Pashola, was here, and he said, sister, you have to bring a container of yam for Ogun. Oh my God. So yam is a tuber. It's a brown tuber. You cut it, it's white inside. It's, pounded yam machine bag.
It's white.
It's white. That's made from the tuber yam. Well, black folk And we had this discussion today. Black folk in the South
Call
sweet potatoes yams.
Yep.
Because we didn't have yams when we brought over here, so we found the closest thing we could, and we found the sweet potato is a tuber too, but no, yam is much bigger, but and different consistency. But we use the sweet potato to replace the yams, so we call them yams sometimes. Well, this sister, she's from Kentucky. People, say that West and Midwest, it's the South too. And some people say, candied yams. That's sweet potato.
Potatoes, yes.
Well, he said, "Sister, bring me the yam for Ogun." He's talking about yam, the actual big yam I was just talking about from Nigeria.
And I asked, I said, I said, do you know what it is? She said, yes, I know.
And she brought this container. I said, what is that? A foil container, the little top on it. And I looked. Well, he opened it. He said, okay.
What is this?
He opened it. He said, he said, what is this? I said, what? He said, Baba. He pointed at me, and I started crying, laughing. And he's like, what? What's wrong with the yam? I said, Baba, that is a sweet potato. Now Yoruba men will not, don't even want to touch a sweet potato because they feel it saps your manhood from you.
They told when they were young that eating too much sweet potato will make them to lower them
the testosterone,
yeah.
Right? So he's looking trying to give it back to her after I tell him what that is, and he's like, "Where's the yam?" She said, "That's yam." I said, "Sister, yam is a tuber. It's nothing like this. Is sweet potato. I know people call it yam." Right. Oh my God, that was so funny. So just recognize you're dealing with different culture. Always keep that in your mind. Even when you like you're saying certain things in the language, it was easy for me. I was to be a linguist in the military. But
let me say this: Ogun accepted that offering, though. I just
want to
say that he did accept it, but she did come back and bring more yam.
Yes, Ogun was nice, if you will, if you want to call Ogun nice. Now, when you're dealing with the language, like people will say, ESU, that's a shoe. That's an Orisha, a shoe. And it's Orisha you really want to show respect to. You don't call somebody outside their name. So a lot of times people say Eshu because they're used to E being like egg. But they're not, or E. They know it's not issue, right? So they say Eshu. But they're not used to E being A. But in most languages in the world, E is pronounced A. E with a dot under it is E. So, like my one of my names is Efun Shegun. E with a dot under it, Fun Segun. That's Efun Shegun. Not Efun Shegun. Efun Shegun. It's not. So you got to make sure you get it right, because Yoruba is also a tonal language. You say it the wrong way, you could be saying something else. You could talk about somebody's mama. You got to know what you. So it's a shoe, y'all. A shoe la royer, not eshu la royer. Just so you know. And because I care about you, that's the reason why I'm saying it. Otherwise, you can go on and say it, and you could say Balagoon, what the fuck you talking about, and keep saying eshu. But hey, I'm telling you, it's a shoe. Eshu Sharonga, Eshu Laraye, Eshu Odara, not Eshu Odara.
Yami Osharonga.
Yeah, excuse me. Yami Osharonga. Eshu Odara. Eshu Laraye. Laraye was the first Ata Oja of Oshogbo. That Ata Oja is a title, is a name for a king. Okay. Not Eshu. It's not. On that too. It's not Ashe. There's a dot under that is. Ashe. If you care to know and say it right is I shall. And you hear them say it. Listen to the other when they say it. They're saying I say.
We working on it.
I say, and yes, if you, as long as you're working, because I believe me, I ain't got all the words right, but just know it's a different culture from yours, so don't say it the way you would
want to know the correct way of saying it.
Right.
That's what Balagon is trying to say.
When shit, I used to say Yoruba. It's Yoruba. Mm-hmm. It ain't Yoruba. It's Yoruba. These things are important, but and Yoruba people were very kind to me. I realized that later in my life that I would say, y'all practice. Every time I met a Nigerian, which is also insulting, I'm like, you practice Yoruba? They were like, no, brother, I'm a Christian. Or they didn't say, it's Yoruba, nigga. They didn't say that to me. They said, no, because they knew what I was trying to say. And it's Ifa. It's not, the tradition is not called Yoruba or Yoruba. It's not called that. It's called Ifa, right? But I didn't know. I know people in Chicago, they practice Yoruba. Lord of mercy, man. I thank God for the kindness of others.
Well, that's how you know if somebody is saying Yoruba, that's how you know where they are in Ifa.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because
or even if they say Ifa.
Yeah.
We know.
You know that the person is probably a beginner.
Right.
So just kind of listen out for that type of stuff.
Right.
If they telling you that, join my Ile, and they speaking like that, then you know those are new people. So just be aware.
Although there's this one priest, she's cold. But boy, she can't pronounce nothing. But she's brilliant. She's brilliant. But her pronunciation, woo, woo, woo. Oh my goodness. But she is well studied, y'all. So I don't trip too hard, but I also don't spook out people like, this ain't our language. Well, that is one of our languages, actually. Yeah. But when people say with English, it's not saying, because it's not our language anyway. Stop that. Stop it. Stop that. You just don't have command of it, and that's okay. Try to get command. The reason why, you can communicate better. Because it was horrific numbers. I was like, I don't know if these numbers are true, but I've heard it multiple times, where it will say, the white man's vocabulary in English, speaking English, 6,000 words. We think that great, but it's still, 6,000. White woman, 1,000.
1,000?
Black woman. Mm-hmm. Yes. Black woman. I think it's 700. 600. That's terrible, but hey, it's black man. 60 words.
Impossible.
That's what I said too. So then I went further. So then it's okay. Black man, 600 words. Black woman, I think it was 1,500 words. White woman, I think it's 5,000 words or 4,500 words, something. White man, 6,000 words. Still not that great, but hey, I said, God damn. And this is why, if it is true, and especially with 60 words, this is why we meet shit with so much violence. Black men, we can't express ourselves the way we want to.
Well, we should.
But that's why music is so important to us, though. Because we can flip those 60 words into magic. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We can do incredible shit with those 60 words, 600 words.
And I really just don't believe that.
It could be 600. That's still poor.
It's still poor, yeah.
But I can believe that, right? When I read the thing said 60 words, I was crying, laughing. I had the same reaction when you said, man, if black folk in Chicago keep killing each other every weekend, ain't nobody in Chicago going to be left. I had that same thing when I looked. I said 60 words. God damn, I can't even order a good meal or buy groceries.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Damn. It's really not. funny. It's sad, but it's funny because I just didn't believe those numbers.
Yeah.
That's astronomical. It's like when COVID first hit, my mama was terrified. My cousin told my mama in Chicago. Now she ain't been out the house because she was scared herself. She said, out in the streets, people just dying in the streets. It's like war like Vietnam.
Like blood all over.
Over blood, people dead in the streets. I said, Mama, that would have hit the news or something somewhere. It ain't just Chicago's huge, millions of people, and people just dead in the streets. No, ma.
I was like, dang, where they at?
Right. I'm like, that ain't happening, ma. No. Believe me, that ain't true. We would have been known about that. So we got so many family members in Chicago. Somebody would call and say, hey, I'm looking out the window right now.
Or taking some pictures.
And took pictures and sent it to us and put it and you know, shit. Somebody would have put it online who ain't related to it. Just look at all these dead bodies. So no. And thank goodness that wasn't the case. Mm-hmm. You know. But stuff like that when it's just crazy, I just be cracking up. I'll be cracking up. Like during the AIDS scare, my mother's from Yazoo, Mississippi, right? And they called and told her, hey, Mita, 85% of all people in Yazoo got, and I told her that they said that, got AIDS. I said, Mom, that's impossible. 85%. I said, well, then in a few months, everybody gonna have it then. That's the case.
And how is it that 85% of those people got it? I mean, the old people,
children,
the babies.
Yeah.
They just tell us anything.
And we run because we're scared. Fear will make us run with anything. Just say, well, shit, they said it. When you start, who is they? If you can't mic down who they is, you probably want to take what they said with a grain of salt, because you don't know who they are. That means that somebody, you just heard it. You saw a video on social media, and that could be anybody saying whatever, right? With us, what we're saying here, make sure you go back to your priests or people you know and talk about it. And they can always reach out to us out here, All right, so hey, shout out to Alias Fresh, or Elias Fresh, Chris Jack, everybody else that's watching, lurking. It's cool. You're welcome to come out and say something. We would love to talk to you. But we enjoyed our time here with you, dealing with the misconceptions and the perception that people have of what we do.
Peace, Chris Jack.
Peace, Chris Jack. Yeah, the perception of what we do. So we wanted to clear up a couple of things and things that we had questions about before. Mm-hmm. Okay. So thank you all. Be safe out there.
Be blessed.
Be blessed. Thank you, Chris. So Nana, that is tree, from the tree language of the Akan, and I believe men and women can be Nana, but Nana can be from other languages. It means mother, right? In Yoruba they say Iya, and Baba is all over throughout the continent. Right? So everybody knows that. Now in South Africa, I believe Ma is Ma and father is Mpa, I believe. And maybe we'll do a thing on that where the languages, different things that people call children and the similarity, and maybe we'll research the how those languages became so similar. The travelers. So thank you.
Because
Baba Amosun
is quite similar throughout West Africa.
Absolutely. C Flux Sing, that's Baba Amosun. Oya Bode, he's a Babala himself.
Binky's Rex.
Binky's Rex. Binky's Rex is their rap crew. Binky's means before ignorant niggas kill intelligent songs. Check out Amosun has an album out. And that symbol that if you can see his symbol, that green circle with the fire in the middle, that is the symbol on his album. I think they still call them albums. Okay. Flux Wonder Bad is his rap nom de plume, and pick up his album, pick up Binkus Rex work, his crew's work, and you'll be happy you did. Some great stuff. Uh, so it's not an error, Chris Jack. You don't have to say you're sorry. Nana still applies. So um, in my class, my martial art class, we say yebo, but yes. We also use Yoruba terms. Yoruba, yes, is bayani, but bayani doesn't hit as hard as yebo. So we use yebo.
Sounds harder.
Right, it sounds harder. So we use yebo in our class. It's fine. It's all acronym. It's good.
Oh, he's asking if next time we can talk about how villagers use shrines to prepare for war.
Oh, for sure.
That's a good topic.
We kind of dealt with that when we dealt with Dirty Bookman.
Yeah.
But we'll go into that. That's a great topic. Yes. All right. Thank you all.
Be blessed.
Salute to you all. Be safe. Be blessed, as my wife says, and we'll see you all same time next week. Okay. Make sure you come back 8 o'clock for I believe your doctor is doing Sundays today. So y'all join him for Sundays. Peace.
Peace.